He only shows up when he can gloat.
Woo! Let's go, baby! Let's go! Winner, winner, winner. Oh, wait, are we talking about Phoenix Rising? We talk about Spurs, maybe a little bit of both. Welcome in to the PHNX
I warned you.
Tottenham Hotspur podcast.
No.
Let's go.
I warned you.
Let's go. Europa League. Final winners. Let's go. No, welcome into the PHNX Rising podcast. Appreciate everyone in here. My name is Max Simpson. We're rocking. We're rolling. I'm joined by the one and only Owen, the Oracle Evans. How we doing, sir?
Well, you got sunglasses on, mate.
We're just blocking out the haters, blocked out everyone. We're not Spursy today. We're not, oh, where's your trophies? The cabinet is no longer empty. We're here. It's a fantastic day. Devin all in the chat. Come on, you Spurs. Let's go. Let's go. We love it. We love it. We got Shane Curmudgeon Diefenbach behind the brand redacted computer, pushing all the different buttons. Everyone in here, get on in here. Leave a like on your way in. We got a lot to talk about. It's going to be just a great episode. I guess Phoenix Rising won back-to-back games. I guess we'll maybe touch on that, but let's just spend the first like 50 minutes talking about the beautiful performance today. Tottenham Hotspur. Let's go.
No.
I guess we should talk about it. Maybe we lead with Phoenix Rising.
If there was ever a day when Max should have been on vacation. You know what? I agree.
You thought you could get rid of me.
This guy, when I got here today,
Yeah.
this guy was the most sedated I have ever seen him.
I got a job to do.
Like you won a title today, Max, and you just like, yeah, nothing had happened. I mean, you should have been on vacation.
We act like we've been here before.
Take the day off? No.
We
When? When?
Wasn't
Wasn't it the 80s? Am I wrong?
No, you're not wrong. It's like 1982. Yeah, 84 maybe. That sounds about right.
Yeah, the fact that you don't know this answer is poor, man.
You block it out. Not my lifetime. That's okay. No, man, listen, we got work to do. I wanted to save the energy for the pod, for the people. It's a day of celebration.
1984, by the way.
It is 84, yeah. It's a day of celebration. It's beautiful. Gosh, I can't wait to talk more about it. But I guess we will talk about Phoenix Rising because they are also winners back-to-back matches. And they had a nice victory over a Monterey Bay side, which we've seen this before. Monterey Bay, they're starting out kind of hot, kind of a little bit of jokesters, as we've seen in seasons past. Phoenix Rising putting in a complete performance, a pretty convincing 2-0 victory, right? They're dominating the stats. They're dominating the eye test. Oh,
they didn't have the majority of possession.
Well, that's true. They did. Possession FC, they did lose that one, but everything else.
But it didn't matter because it
didn't matter at that point. I mean,
they did nothing.
Watching that match, I mean, is that just a test of, was Phoenix Rising, are they turning the corner? Was Monterey Bay just that poor on the night? A little bit of both? What do we think?
It's an interesting one, right? Because we talk about complete performance or not. I actually think that this team never was in a position where they looked like they would lose. But that doesn't mean that I necessarily thought they were going to win for a lot of the game. I think that first half performance from Rising was dominant in the sense of they prevented Monterey Bay getting anything of note going. Mm-hmm. The only people who created any chances were Rising. But the chances that Rising really managed to produce at the end, getting the shot off at the end of it, testing the goalkeeper, it was slim. It was really slim pickings in terms of what you were going to take from that first half. I actually felt at halftime like this was one of those games where if Rising didn't step it up, it kind of had draw written all over it.
Oh, yeah.
And ultimately they did step it up, right? I feel like they felt a lot more... I think just they had that bit more bite to them in the second half. Their possession was turning into more shots, better shots. And I think that they were entirely justified in coming away with a win in that game. Monterey Bay offered nothing. Let's be clear on that one. And where you draw that line, because obviously it's a hard line to draw, right? Whenever you have a team that comes in and gets 0 shots on target, the line is somewhere between Rising defensively put up a very decent effort, kept them out, didn't really allow them into dangerous spaces. But there's also an element of Monterey Bay never really felt like they would create a whole lot of anything. And it's right somewhere between those two. And I'm not sure quite how much I give on the one side as a percentage and how much I give on the other side as a percentage. But there's definitely an element of both in there.
There is. I mean, you know, we've often seen this, especially during the start of this season. Phoenix Rising, they get out to at least getting one in the back of the net. It's a relatively slower start, right? Especially in the first half, like you mentioned. And I think this is one where, especially against a Monterey Bay team who, you know, right, they're sitting in, you know, towards that top half of the table. They have, again, got off to good starts historically in the last couple of years. This is one where you needed your players to step up, and you did, right? You had the likes of a Damon Rivera. You had guys in the midfield where, for as suspect as they were able to put in a little bit more of a shift in what we've seen compared to even a month ago this time. And I think a lot of that culminated into they kept on piling on the pressure for a Monterey Bay side, just did not have the answers for the offensive attack that we have now known Phoenix Rising has had throughout the season. Say what you want about this team. Defensively, they have been able to hold it down where it counts, but in terms of the attacking output that they have, Phoenix Rising will keep on coming at you. They will deploy that front three in ways where there's creative runs, there's through balls, and they're trying to mix it up with the passes. But also, again, sometimes to their detriment, they are going to commit that midfield forward with the ball. That's what we saw leading to the goals.
Yeah, it's... I mean, okay, we can kind of take them, though, the 2 goals as very separate things. When you look at... Ryan Flood's goal is just a moment of brilliance. There,
a banger,
really.
As the kids say.
It's a very Ryan Flood thing to do. It's one of those ones where he just lets rip from distance. We've seen him do it. So often. In terms of just the way that he did it against El Paso. We see him do it in training sometimes. The guy just likes to take grips. We saw him do it in Ireland where he was taking free kicks. Like, this is a guy who likes to hit balls from distance, and kind of put them on goal and see what he can do. And that was something that I asked him about in the post-game press conference about, is that something that Pa kind of encourages you to do, to take those shots from distance? He was like, if there's ever a moment where you can kind of change the game with just one strike of the ball and more than that, just, if you can find ways to challenge a goalkeeper, from realistically anywhere on the field, then he wants you to take that on. He wants you to give it a go and see what you can get done. But
But this is where, I don't know if I'm necessarily going to say I'll push back, but I think even though the 2 goals were maybe ones you're not going to see high, not just high XG, but maybe ones where they're not going to be scored every day. You mentioned the Ryan Flood banger from outside the box, and then JP Scearce getting up for kind of a rebound off of a corner that, by the way, I do have to ask you, foul on the keeper or clean ball going for the ball?
I thought it was a foul.
It looked like it. It did look like it for a second.
It's one of those ones where he jumps through the goalkeeper very much to get the ball.
You usually see that called in the keeper's advantage.
You do. There's a good reason for that. I mean, look, ultimately the keeper is not... When you look at it and you're considering who's instigating that contact, the reality is JP Scearce is moving into the goalkeeper. There are a few different factors there. There's the arm that does end up coming kind of around there. Again, all of the movement is him moving into the goalkeeper more than the goalkeeper moving into him in any meaningful manner. It's one of those ones where almost always you're seeing that given as a free kick coming out. In this case, it's not given. It works in Rising's advantage. I said at the time, though, I feel as though at that point, the momentum was with Rising. I feel as though, ultimately, it wasn't that they didn't deserve a lead at that point. Mm-hmm. And it's why also I'm quite glad that Ryan Flood got the goal later on, because I think it removes any degree of controversy there. Rising deserved to win that match on their overall performance. and getting rid of any kind of controversy from it is a good thing. But yeah, it's one of those ones that you almost always seen given in the goalkeepers.
Sure, Fat Kid in the chat. Why can't goalies be touched anymore? I mean, honestly, as a big proponent of let the boys play.
To the comments here where people say things like, "Should you be able to go for a free ball?" But the point is that you're not allowed to jump into somebody.
That's fair.
And he very much jumped into somebody.
It was a big weight room moment.
Now,
unfortunately, can't have that.
One of those ones whereby if it's another player there and an outfield player, you normally don't give it. For goalkeepers, you often do.
Sure.
And I get that, but the point still remains that you can't jump into somebody.
It was, again, you see that call happen so many times, almost automatically. I would say go in. To me, that kind of play where you're jumping up and kind of impeding the keeper. It's almost kind of like one of those where you're a defender, you're shielding the ball in your own defensive third, someone kind of pushes you over and you fall on the ball, foul gets called in your way. It seems like it's one of those things where it's almost automatically called.
I'd also emphasize here, and it's one of those things people always say about you're not allowed to go for the ball. Oh, you are. But you've got to come away with the ball more than the man. And yes, he comes away with the ball, but he's kind of got to go through the man to get it. You're allowed to go for the ball at any point. You can go for a ball when you're tackling somebody. But if you mistime the tackle, even if you get the ball, you can't go through him to get the ball.
Sure. Kevin there's a fair point by Kevin, and this could absolve a lot of the doubt. Poor form by Monterey keeper should have put his knee out to keep space. That is what they say. They do say lead with the knee.
The goalie's entitled to his space, James. That's kind of the point here. The goalie's entitled. He is where he is. He's not running into that space. He's not running into JP Scearce. JP Scearce is going for him. You don't have the right to go through anybody. Like, think about it like, it's not perfect. This, analogy isn't going to work perfectly, right? But you think a little bit about the NBA has the idea of, has the defender established their position? Okay? That is something here that's normally quite important. And that's the same kind of thing often is here, right? You can't just say, well, someone's in the way. If the defender does, does the foul get called? Honestly, on a corner, often it does, actually. But ultimately, and I mean, you also say the thing with Pointy Albus and high knees. That's the strike if they were brave enough to get it. I get that. We've also seen some crackdowns on moments like that. We've seen crackdowns on goalkeepers going out to punch the ball a lot, haven't we? In terms of if they make contact with players as well. Not perfect, but these are elements that still come into this. Look, it's a complicated one, but I will say that when a lot of people, obviously we come out of the game, we speak to a lot of people. Most people and other people who I know who I'd say as people who I trust their opinion on these things are all saying, first instinct is you look at it and think it's probably a foul.
I'm a big proponent of let the boys play. I mean, listen, if this is a call that goes against Phoenix Rising,
if it was the other way around, you'd want it.
100%. And I would say as a neutral, again, I was surprised that the call was not made. I'm very pleasantly happy that it wasn't, but I'm like most times in those situations, keeper's going to get that call.
I'll also say JP Scearce afterwards in the press conference saying, "I don't think I touched the keeper." Oh, JP.
Hey, you score a goal as a golden boot winner myself.
You can make an argument maybe that it's not a foul, but it's for sure. He made contact with the goalkeeper.
As a golden boot winner myself, knowing whenever you put the ball in the back of the net, you kind of just black out for a moment and just everything kind of melts away. So maybe that's a little bit of what JP was feeling. But those two goals aside, see, this is where I think Phoenix Rising actually very much did deserve the league, because even though both those goals, maybe a bit of anomalies, if you will, right? Again, the phantom no call, if you will, on the rebound off that corner, the banger from Ryan Flood. This club, all throughout the match, especially really within that second half, they were creating high quality chances where they were fizzing the ball across goal. They were forcing a couple saves, even a little bit in the first half with some Damian Rivera-Linga play. There was moments in this match consistently throughout where they were testing Monterey Bay's defense and their keeper. It's something where you can't just say they're blips on the radar, because they very much were taking it to them. And that's something where this is the issue I think this team is always going to have. It's not whether or not they can create enough offensive output. It's can they balance out their free-flowing play where they're committing numbers forward by also not conceding on the other end. They just so happen to this time 2-0. The most quote unquote dangerous lead in the beautiful game, but they defended it.
That's a phrase that I just hate, but that's okay.
But hey, it works.
I will say overall though, I actually was intrigued by the performance from Trevor Wiseman and the referee in this game, because I feel like he was very, very quick to the pocket for Monterey Bay throughout the game. Actually, to the degree that that, yeah, when you add that up, you add the no call on the goal, you kind of think, well, Rising got a lot of calls from this guy.
7 yellow cards for Monterey Bay.
He was also one of the scabs in MLS last year, did you know? There we go.
We'll have to see. Anything further from this match? I mean, right, again, this is a Monterey Bay team, who are in pretty much in the top half in the West, and Phoenix Rising.
But they've fallen off a cliff, though.
They really
That's
have.
the thing.
No, they have.
Monterey Bay start the season well, and then you look at it, right? How many games is it now without a win? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They won against Colorado Springs in early April. But if you just say the one win, then you go back to 6 and 7 in all comps now.
Yeah. We are now, most teams have played an average of about 10 matches or so. I mean, you're now starting to see this is a big enough sample size to where they
lost to the Burrito Boys as well.
Oh my gosh, I know, that's right.
Listen,
there's a lot of season left, and you never know, right? Teams can always make a late surge, but like you're now getting to the point where this is a large enough sample size to really see what these teams are made of and kind of where the table's falling into place. So
it is. Yeah. It is. At the same time, I mean, it's interesting. No pressure on Monterey Bay. They're only promising money back to season ticket holders if they miss the playoffs. No pressure. No pressure.
That's a winning strategy for
Anything else to take from that game?
I think I'm going to save some of my thoughts for what we get into a little bit next segment. We're going to get back on the other side of the break, talking about Phoenix Rising's outlook and whether or not have they turned a corner. Don't go anywhere. Oh, yes. Well, listen, I mean, you guys like saving money and especially fueling up. We like saving money. We like saving big money. Circle K. If you go to Circle K tomorrow...
Max is buying gas.
I'm buying gas for myself. I can't promise free gas for anyone else because that's a lot of money. But if you want to save money, save 40 cents per gallon tomorrow, Thursday, May 22nd, from 4 to 7 p.m. You will save 40 cents per gallon. And here's the thing. If you're an Inner Circle member, which again, all you need to do is download the Circle K app and just opt in for free with your Inner Circle rewards. It's just a phone number. That's all it takes. You can then beat the line and save that same 40 cents per gallon from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Again, Inner Circle members save from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. and of course from 4 to 7 like everyone else, but save that money, 40 cents per gallon. Go to a Circle K near you at participating locations. Do it now. Download the app. Opt in Inner Circle. Let's go do it today. And everyone, of course, was, saying, I see Devin on the chat. I see James in the chat. Everyone's like, we're blocking out the haters. We're wearing the sunglasses. We're looking good. Well, that's, of course, thanks to my friends at Shady Rays. I am wearing Shady Rays. I'm actually wearing the Shady Rays Oakmont line, by the way. It's nice. They got the little golden tips at the end. Nice little circular circular kind of shape. It looks like, Shane's getting a close-up on this moneymaker. Shady Rays, they make
That's
it feel
good.
That's a
moneymaker?
I mean, It's not a money loser. Shady Rays, it is fantastic. They feel so nice, right? I have multiple
He's got the glasses, but I don't know about Max.
I have multiple pairs. It looks also much beautiful with this beautiful kit as well. Kit not included, but if you go to shadyrays.com, you use that promo code PHNX, you will save 35 cents off your polarized sunglasses with code PHNX. It is sunny. It is the summertime right around the corner. Get yourself a discounted pair of Shady Rays. They feel fantastic. Genuinely, this is not me ad man or shilling it. Shady Rays is the only pair of sunglasses I wear because they're that darn good. Again, shadyrays.com, promo code PHNX, 35% off that order. Let's go. All right. We're back here after my beautiful close-up talking about Phoenix Rising. Have they turned the corner? Don't look now, Owen. Phoenix Rising, if we are taking out the loss to Houston Dynamo, which again, that was in the Open Cup, we're taking out the loss to San Antonio in the brand redacted cup, then we are left...
the Jägermeister Cup.
Yes. Phoenix Rising, they are 4 games undefeated in the USL Championship.
I know.
And they have now beaten team in Monterey Bay. Yes, 100%. I will give you. They have fallen off a cliff. Absolutely have. But they won on the road against New Mexico in a match where we all thought not only they were going to lose, they could have gotten killed. But they didn't. They won on the road. Hostile, I'm not going to say hostile environment, but right, short rest, made it work after a grueling 120-minute match against Houston Dynamo in the Open Cup on, what was that, 3 days rest? Have they turned the corner? Is this team who they are, or do we still need more time to figure out what their trajectory is?
I feel as though, I know you take some of those games, right? 2 of them are draws against teams that have not been doing very well this season.
Still a result. on the
There's
road.
still results. There's still
Colorado
well,
Springs
one
on the
was
road.
on the road.
On the
One
road.
was at
Colorado
home.
Springs on the
Yeah,
road.
no, I agree. New Mexico was a surprise. I also think it was a very weird one when New Mexico didn't feel like they were at their best that day. Again, Rising, you take nothing away. Rising earned some of their own luck in that game. Rising also had some luck in that game.
Sure.
I think there's a very good case to be made for the fact that New Mexico should have had a penalty at the end of that match. A very good case to be made for that one. I mean, look, it's a penalty. It doesn't mean they're going to score it.
And also, we can't play in the game of
no, because you
hypotheticals
can
and what
also
ifs.
make the same point at times at different stages with Rising. They could say, well, maybe we should have had this there, or maybe we should have had that there. Right? It happens over the course of a long season. I think when I look at this team, I see what they can be. But the question always is, I mean, look, in terms of, we spoke for so long at the start of the year of, is this team necessarily that far away? Is it small things? Is it little tinkering to make? And I don't know whether the team has hugely stepped up since that point, or if the results are just evening out, or if, there's a big mix to that. And equally, if you're going to say that, where it's like the level may have been decent already and they were getting some results, but not many, and they're having bad luck early doors. And unless the level's raised substantially, are they at risk of that same kind of run of bad luck coming back at some point? I don't know. I mean, look, they're still dealing with injuries at the moment. I do feel as though, you look at the addition on the back line, it's helpful. You look at the fact that the front line has stepped up, I think, through various moments, various different choices in personnel in that front line. And they've, for the most part, still found ways to threaten in most of these games, even if it's only at times during a match. But they still always, you don't normally look at this team and think they just don't have a goal in them.
Yeah.
They've always kind of got that in the pocket. I don't know. It's a funny league. It's a really funny league, this one.
It is. It's a special.
And if anything, and this is the thing, right?
Yeah.
We've kind of spoken about the form and the momentum's kind of with them right now. They've got a long break. And that's something that from Pa-Modou Kah, I mean, some of the other boys, when you speak to them, they're like, but some of the boys are tired or they're injured and you want to get them back in. Pa-Modou Kah's first kind of words when you bring up anything about, you got a bit of a long break here. He says, not optimal. You want to get in that rhythm. You're building momentum. You want to keep it going. You want to be in a nice, consistent rhythm that's going to help you to build off that. When things are going well and you take a bit of a break and things are a little bit, it just interrupts that. And that's why I think the challenge is going to be interesting to see what they come out with in Vegas. A Vegas side that is, well, I mean, they've got a game this weekend against El Paso, but they're going to be hurting after last weekend.
Oh, yeah. I mean, seeing Bonnie in the chat, I think Phoenix Rising still has a lot of work to do. I hope they prove me wrong and they have turned the corner. I mean, that seems like a sentiment, right? I mean, I think kind of going off what you mentioned, this club, they certainly have a goal in them, or at least the threat of a goal in seemingly every match. I think, again, they know very much who their best front three or four, given a substitution here and there. They have a lot of depth off the bench who can come in and really provide some attacking output. We saw even some of those different changes against the match against Monterey Bay. They have the output. That's not the question. It's over a long season, we have seen that teams who are ultra attacking, especially in the USL, where sometimes you just have to be able to solidify a result and just dig in. It's not saying that this Phoenix Rising club hasn't done that, because we have seen even in recent matches that they are able to grind out a result against difficult opposition. Again, think New Mexico away, even holding for as long as they did against Houston Dynamo in the Open Cup. They are able to grind out a result and put in a positive performance. The issue is are we going to see the Phoenix Rising for the first month plus of the season where you're failing to get a win, where you're not able to really string together a good stretch of defensive performances? Or are you going to get the Phoenix Rising with over this 4-match unbeaten streak within the league? You're able to go on the road, get results, you're able to score goals consistently, you're able to keep some clean sheets against opponents. We have to see which Phoenix Rising is going to come about, because I think the talent is very much there. You have to remember, Owen and I were talking about this before the pod started. This club, it's not necessarily that they're young. They are on the younger side compared to Phoenix Rising teams of old, but there's so much continuity that needs to be built, where there's so many guys who have not returned from seasons past, who are still trying to play together. And when you're trying to build that all on the fly with a guy who is a first-year head coach in USL Championship, it's a lot to happen. I think that this club still has a higher trajectory, and I don't think they've hit their ceiling yet. But my question is it going to be, are they going to be around the top four? Possible, but there's still more work to be done. I think it's still unwritten whether or not this is kind of the peak of what we're expecting for Phoenix Rising.
So coming there on Margarita, and this is an interesting one, right? Obviously, he had a bit of a groin issue up in Colorado Springs and went off. So I think they've been quite cautious with him since then. Obviously, we know that he's going, right? When you talk about the potential loss of 3 players to the Gold Cup, we know that he is going to the Gold Cup. He is in Curaçao's squad. He's going to the Gold Cup. He's going to the World Cup qualifiers. He will miss at least the games against Orange County, FC Tulsa, and Charleston Battery, presuming that Curaçao don't go further in the Gold Cup, which could then add even more to that. Presuming that he's ready for a turnaround 4 days after the final Gold Cup fixture he's got, given that they're playing 3 days before that and 4 days before that. And, there's a lot of games these next few weeks, right? He could be missing 3 Rising games and playing in 5 over that time period. So he might be quite tired by the time that he returns. The others who possibly are going, and the preliminary squads for the Gold Cup were published by CONCACAF earlier this week. Carl Saint could be going to Haiti's national team for the Gold Cup, and they've got World Cup qualifiers as well, as have Guatemala, who have included Damian Rivera in their provisional squad. Now, the provisional squads are for up to 60 players, so it's a much larger pool. It's meant to give you kind of a vague idea of who's in the pool that could be picked. The final 26-man squads for the Gold Cup are coming in early June. But Curaçao have kind of put those out already, so we know that Joe Margarita is going to be called up to the Curaçao squad this summer.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not gonna try to spin this into a positive thing. I mean, right, you're gonna be losing Joe Margarita, you're gonna be losing other players who have been contributing, but I think this is something where we've seen this team already go through a bit of a injury crisis, especially where Darnell King's coming off and playing, minutes for you, right? Like, this is something where they've already been tested a bit. And I think given the long season, right, you're out of the Open Cup, you want to be able to rely on a deeper, squad. And this is not saying that this is how you want it to have happen, but I'm curious to see who's going to be able to step up. I'm curious the different combinations that you're going to be able to have.
Well, you bring up Margarita, right? I'll ignore the Open Cup because I think that's just not a good barometer for judging how this team is in the attack, right? When you're playing an MLS team, it's not going to give you a good idea about what they can create. Rising has 3 wins this season. 2 of them have come in the last 2 weeks. Joe Margarita didn't start either of those games. Now, that's not saying that this team is better off or there's no drop off when Joe Margarita's not starting. I don't believe that's true. I think he's one of the best players in the league at his position.
Don't disagree.
But this team is showing that they can still find ways to find goals, to create chances when he's not available. So I do think that there's an element there if you look at it and say, okay, maybe they can do something here. Maybe they can realistically, but put up a very strong fight, even when you're missing players like Joe Margarita, like Pa-Modou at the back, like, you look at the midfield, obviously we still haven't seen Charlie Dennis all season. Giulio Dortiotto, haven't seen him. When you've got guys like that out, I know this team, you look at the midfield especially, you kind of think, okay, work to be done. My understanding is the team is working on that. But, you'll see what comes of that. It's an interesting one. It's an interesting one overall because I think there is obviously talent in that group, even without a couple of the star players. But it's I don't know when things get more difficult. It's not the worst time to have them missing, I suppose, especially as the wins start coming in and maybe the immediate pressure is lifted a little bit.
The cushion is padded a little bit. Yeah, I mean, Kevin in the chat.
If this team hadn't won either of these last two games, I think you're starting to get very worried because then you say, okay, you need guys to step up who aren't starters necessarily. If you were to put your first choice 11 out there,
I mean, you're going to be talking. You're in the bottom 3 of the West, and that's
at that point,
that's not a stretch.
No,
at
correct.
All. No,
entirely
I mean,
correct.
yeah, Kevin in the chat. As long as Flood keeps banging him in, we'll be okay. We'll be better too when he has the full cast. Kind of dig the cast. Gives you a competitive advantage. No, I mean, again, this is the thing that's going to be the narrative. I think with this team throughout the season is, are they going to be able to keep the consistency and be able to provide more of an attack and hope that their defense holds up? And again, that's not to say they have quality guys, within the back line, have some players, some experience certainly within, goalkeeping position, Patrick Rakovsky. That just to me is going to be the very interesting one, is how far do you stretch that limit of we want to be this fluid attacking team and just hope that it doesn't come back to bite you on the other side, right? They've been able to manage it in recent weeks, but it really will be tested during the Gold Cup and during those matches 100%. Where you have some key people out. And I think that's the thing. We just haven't seen this, I think, extreme from Phoenix Rising in quite some time, where they are so front-footed and they're leaning so much into, hey, goals scored is going to be the main metric that we're going to be trying to win matches, right? Again, as I've said before, and I'll say it again, right? Goals change games, and you can only win a match by scoring goals, but you do need to be able to hold up your other side of the bargain. And there are times where it's not the worst thing where something could be turning into a loss. Rescue a point out of that. The mood shifts a little bit. I'm just curious what that's going to be looking like when you extrapolate it out of an entire full USL Championship season, and we still have a decent sample size for sure, but we still have a long way to go.
There's still a long way to go. I mean, we are now at a point whereby we are a third of the way through Rising season. Mm-hmm. So it is that's actually
just started. My gosh,
yeah, pretty quickly that snuck up on us, a third of the way through. But it is only a third, and there's still there's still 20 games left to play.
Yeah.
And you're only 5 points off at the top, although the teams at the top also have games in hand.
Oh, yes. And we'll do actually a little bit of around the USL, a bigger picture look around the league on the other side of the break. Stay tuned for that right after this. We're talking about all the sports. We're talking about the best way to enjoy watching the atmosphere, taking in everything. Again, listen, I had to work today. I had to watch the beautiful Europa League
you didn't
final.
Take today off,
where
Max.
Spurs won. Where Spurs beat Man United.
Max takes too much vacation. Normally he couldn't take today off.
I dabble, but if I wasn't in here, and I do love my coworkers and everything, but really I should have been watching that. Gila River Resorts Casinos, especially at their Wild Horse Pass location. They have the great place to watch it, right? They have the Upper Deck Bar. They have the BetMGM Sportsbook at their locations where you can watch all the different events, right? Again, you have the NBA playoffs. Both of those conferences are in their conference championships. They have UFC there. They have PGA. They have everything going on. Again, they have the beautiful, beautiful game playing there as well. Check out Gila River Resorts Casinos. They have locations all throughout the valley. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Check out the location today. We have done watch parties there. We've done NFL drafts there. We have events coming up down the road. It is an amazing atmosphere, and their service and quality is top notch, from the service staff to the food. You do you at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Visit playatgila.com for more details. Also, we got to shout out our friends over at Mount America Credit Union. They're committed to helping all of us with more than over 1 million members with 100 branches throughout the West. They are great people. Everyone, right? They need a checking account. It's important, especially in these days, to be able to earn and save that money. Go get the account with built-in benefits. Mount America's My Style checking account has perks just for you. There's so many things that you can enjoy, right? We're talking, this is just in a checking account. Restaurant deals, mobile phone protection, telehealth access, identity protection, loan rate discounts, and offers on travel and events. All that from a credit card. That's pretty cool. Make My Style from Mount America Credit Union your choice. Visit macu.com/mystyle to apply. Again, macu.com/mystyle to apply. Membership required based on eligibility. Some benefits require no cost registration activation. Terms, conditions, and exclusions apply. All right, we are back here. We're talking.
We're back.
We're going around the league. James
Going
in
around the
chat.
league.
Are your eyes okay, Max? Just wondering if you were able to see through those shady rays. Of course, shady rays are high quality. Again, I'm just blocking out the haters. It's a little too bright here. A lot of this co-host of mine and this producer. They're yapping. They're talking a lot of smack. I'm just trying to block out the noise.
It's the Simpson.
And the allegations in the chat, by the way, against me are just salacious.
I haven't said a single word today.
That is, yeah. Before the show, you were saying things. Yeah.
But was he saying things that were wrong?
We're not going to talk about that.
So he wasn't.
Well, okay. All right. Let's go around the league. This is the thing. I think when we're kind of looking at, has Phoenix Rising, are they overperforming? Are they kind of hitting this sweet spot within these recent matches? And I think a lot of it too, it does come down to form, but it also comes down to the competition at hand within the USL Championship. As we've seen throughout recent seasons, there's a massive discrepancy between the East and the West. Within the East, if you're looking there, between the 1 seed and the 8 seed, okay, the points gap there is 13 points.
Yep.
Okay, top club, Charleston Battery, 21 points, and 8th seed, Pittsburgh Riverhounds on 8 points. 13-point gap. In the West, New Mexico United, top dogs, 18 points. 8th is Las Vegas Lights, 6-point gap between 1st seed and 8th seed in the West. The West is tight. And listen, there are some bad teams at the bottom. Lexington SC. Sorry for all of our Lexington fans watching the PHNX Rising
Things just
podcast.
aren't going right there, and I think it's because he's trying to make them play a way that's just not going to work.
It's not going to work out. I mean, Orange County, Oakland Roots, it's tough. Colorado Springs, they're trying to go for the repeat. Listen, there is a lot of time, but I just don't see it there. That is so tight within the West, and I don't really see a lot of those teams truly separating, especially even given recent form, right? You look at Phoenix Rising in the league, they're the hottest team in the West. They're the hottest team in the West with a 4-match unbeaten streak and 2 wins in a row. They're the hottest team in the West. I'm curious how that looks if, again, we go back to, is that more of an indictment of Phoenix Rising's play or poor outfield from the West? Because you look at the East, that is always going to be a massive separation. The top 5 or 6 clubs are separating themselves, and they will continue to do so. And
it's not necessarily the people you expect, though, as well.
No, that is fair. But the bottom 6 are a dumpster fire, and it is not good. It is going to be a massive gap, as it is always. So I'm curious what that's going to look like when we get into the last month or 2 of the season. Is Phoenix Rising going to continue to be in this mid-table? Are they going to be able to move up? Are they going to kind of regress to the mean?
Well,
we're going to have to see.
When it's this tight, it's hard to tell. Can we talk about, if we're doing around the league, I kind of want to talk about this one team I really want to talk about right now. And it is the worst team in USL Championship. And did you expect this one, Max? You know who it is, don't you?
Rowdies.
It's the Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Bad, dude. They're bad.
They are bad.
One win and 1 draw.
I don't know how to describe a team that has
4 points.
4 points in 9 games. I mean, it could be worse. You could be LA Galaxy, but it could be worse. I guess they are 4-14 in MLS at the moment. But it's bad. It's just a mess there, and I don't know really. I mean, yes, Manuel Arteaga not finding the net is a problem. He's at the moment, if you look at the Opta data, he is 21st in, I believe, in XG for the league.
Yeah.
And doesn't, how many goals does he have?
I maybe really don't have the top of my head. Was
0?
0. He does have 0. Wow.
You'd have to go a long way down to find anyone else in the list. If you just sort players by XG in this league. Now, we can talk about one player that's absent from there, obviously, that makes a big difference. Who would that be, Max?
What's that?
Give me a guess. Who's the biggest departure from Tampa Bay Rowdies?
I mean, you can say in the manager spot.
But they got rid of.
I mean, even still though.
But over the off season, who's the biggest departure?
I'm gonna be real. My mind's not there.
Max Simpson. He's not following this. He's not following this.
I'm thinking of Europa League, baby.
So when you think about Cal Jennings as a player. You think about losing him to Charleston, the current player who leads the Golden Boot race in USL, who has by far the most expected goals in USL, and you've taken that out of that Tampa Bay Rowdy team. James Wilson gets it in the chat.
I'm not all there, baby.
That's huge. That's a huge difference.
Yeah.
To your team.
We especially what he's done for Tampa Bay over the years. I mean, like you said, leading the Golden Boot race. He's such an integral part, especially how he played off of Manuel Arteaga. Like that's that is a tough one to replace. And I think we've seen Tampa Bay for so long, even in their down years, they've still been okay, you can get to a mid-table club, but we're not used to seeing them floundering at the bottom, and it's by a wide margin.
They're bad.
You can't see a way back from them at this point. Like, I know there's a lot of season left, but dang, man, you got to fix something.
There's a lot of season left, but yes, they're not good. They are not good.
They're not good.
I don't really know how else to put it, but they're like not good.
They're like the Man United in Europa League competition. Am I right? Am I right? Leave a like on your way in here.
He's way too happy still about this. He's way too happy.
I'm gonna mute your mic.
We're on cloud now. My mic.
I'm gonna.
What?
Yeah,
No.
stop.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Tampa Bay clearly not doing hot on the eastern side. I mean, it's going to be interesting. Do we see anyone from the East pulling away? Again, it's kind of crowded at the top. You have your likely, crew of the Charleston Battery, of Louisville, who are always going to be in the mix. Loudoun, we've seen this before. I think they might fade away, but you never know. Detroit
They're
City,
outperforming their expected goals.
Detroit
by quite
City made a run and held up their end of the bargain last year. North Carolina is weirdly in it, and they did not do great last year. Rhode Island's trying to get back to the finals. We're going to have to see. A lot have to be in the mix, but I don't know. Anyone in the East that really intrigues you overall?
The East that really intrigues me overall? Loudoun. It is just Loudoun. I think also the other one that intrigues me a little bit over there is, and you know exactly why it's going to be this one. We want to talk about a form team right now from nowhere. Let's talk about Miami FC. 10 points on the season, but all 10 of those points have come in their last 4 games.
Sure have.
That's enough to actually lift them above the playoff line, by the way, at the moment.
Yeah. Miami FC. The mighty Miami FC.
Miami
Who were
Miami
the
FC.
worst team by a wide margin last year.
It's just insane, isn't it?
This league is so unpredictable.
The Miami FC.
This league is so unpredictable. This league is gross. I mean, you're looking at the form of, especially in the East, and the top 7 in the East. It is just all colored in green, wins across the board, all in their last 3 matches. It's looking beautiful. And the bottom 5, oh my gosh, it is just loss and loss and loss. And just these teams are so in and out of form. Something's got to give. It's going to have to equalize a little bit further, but we understand whenever we get to this point at the end of the season, the East is typically like this. I guess I'm just shocked how early that these clubs in the top 6 and 7 are really separating themselves from the pack. And I just don't know how it's going to reverse.
We should also talk about, I tell you what, if we switch to the West, let's talk about El Paso. It's brought up there by James in the chat. I'm intrigued that,
fraudulent.
Based on what?
I don't know.
What makes them fraudulent to you?
I mean, we have seen some turnarounds from clubs where, again, I mean, even Las Vegas last year was a prime example.
Wilmer Cabrera's a good coach in this league.
I understand, but what I'm saying is he's usually getting into one of the last playoff spots. I'm second in the West.
Yeah, but that was because RGV never put any money in. I know,
but
they're actually 4th, by the way.
Thank you. So, top.
They're all on 16.
Yeah,
points,
I mean, okay, top four in the West.
2 through 5 are all 16.
He's used to sneaking into the playoffs and kind of just contending. I understand it's a different roster, but I don't know. El Paso, they've always kind of been punch their ticket and kind of hang around. Their form has been good, like Phoenix Rising. They are riding a 4-match unbeaten streak, so in the league. So I don't know. We'll see.
You know what I will say on that one? What is it that El Paso have that no one else in the league? What are they number 1 in the league for? Outright number 1 in the league.
What, my goal scored?
Nope.
Oh, no, they're second behind Charleston.
Yep, and they're also joking with Loudoun on that one.
That's fair. What you got?
They are the team that outperform their XG by the most.
Yeah, but see, I don't know if that's not always sustainable.
But it can be good.
It can be. It's good, but I don't know if that's sustainable.
You know what? We want to get into that then. There are 3 teams that have scored 5 more goals than their XG. Who are they? El Paso's clearly won.
Paso's clearly won.
This season.
I'm probably going to go, seems like Loudoun.
Loudoun's the second.
And give me...
Who's number 3?
Tulsa.
No. Tulsa are actually one of the least clinical teams in the league. Tulsa have a negative 2.45. Think closest to home.
Monterey Bay.
No.
New Mexico?
It's Phoenix Rising.
Oh, that close. Oh, it's not close to home. It is home.
It's that close to home.
It is home. Okay. Huh. Interesting. I I'm not sure. We'll have to see. Let's see. Anthony in the chat. El Paso are number 1 in terrible.
Yeah, that kit is awful. I don't know what they were going for.
I get what they're trying to do.
I get what they're
trying to do, but the
thing,
execution
and
is not
it was
there.
terrible. It's awful. It looks atrocious.
Shane, you're a big kit guy. It's they did like this. I want to call it like almost like a
street art,
like a street art, kind of like just on one half of their kit. But it just it comes across as it's like it's not templatized and just looks really awful.
I'm not gonna bring it up because I know you're thinking the exact same thing as me here, Shane, probably. But when you type El Paso kits in, and we're not gonna talk anymore because it'll wind up our ad man over here who says no free ads.
No, we'll bring it up.
But
yeah, the street taco kit.
No,
yeah, that's the first thing that comes up. It's the only thing that comes up. It's like when you type in Lexington SC for the team, and you remember why did you name your team Lexington SC when there's a Lexington in South Carolina? So you never come up. Your SEO is poor. But yeah, El Paso Locomotive, their kits are
good.
Interesting.
Team is overperforming.
The thing is, I don't mind the like the midnight kit and the goalkeeper kit that goes with it. I think they're okay. It's kind of the graffiti one. I don't think no, you've not found it. I'll send you a link, Shane, behind the computer over there. But it's just such a weird kit there.
By the way, quick for KFC and CAYFC. Gosh darn it, no, they try to give me a free ad. CAYFC in the chat and Ride Balls. A nice, come on, you Spurs. Let's go. We love it.
I actually kind of like them.
Yeah.
You like that kit, the graffiti kit?
Yeah. It's
to be fair, it would be a Shane thing.
It's different.
It's different, but it doesn't. But different doesn't mean good.
You know what? I like it.
He likes it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's different.
Yeah,
we're all entitled to our bad opinions on something.
Are these like one-offs, or are they wearing them?
No, they wear these regularly.
Okay, no, that's a no.
Yeah.
This is like a twice-a-year thing.
Yeah, but it's not. yeah. Devin on the chat, half graffiti, half blank. I mean,
the sponsor on the side is a bit weird as well. It just feels like weirdly tracked in there.
If you're kind of looking at where the West is heading, again, it is very clustered. This can go a lot of different ways for Phoenix Rising. And again, we did this a lot last season, even the year before. At this point in time, I would like you to make an educated guess where, I'm not going to even ask you at the end of the season, where are Phoenix Rising a month from now?
A month from now?
That's hard. Chat, let us know as well. Where are Phoenix Rising in the table a month from now?
I'll tell you what I'm going to say. I'm going to say they're going to be 5th or 6th.
Okay. That's not too much deviation.
And I think
you have a way to Las Vegas Lights, you have home to New Mexico, you have home to Orange County, and you have a way to Tulsa. Or some
my end of season barometer for this team is if you don't finish top 6, you're a failure.
I don't disagree. That's the minimum.
I think that's the
minimum.
I think that's the bare minimum.
No, Devin All.
No.
We were reading. I was deceived, but not intentionally. I would tend to agree. I think you're kind of looking at the run of form, right? New Mexico, the second time around, even if it is at home, I think it's going to be a much closer contest. Vegas away, we've seen in recent years, it's kind of a tricky one. Even Vegas's poor form, never know where it goes with them. I do think, right, 5th or 6th does sound good for about a month from now, and I would agree. You're looking at how the West is shaping up. Again, those bottom 3 clubs, it's kind of tough. Poor run of form. Maybe some of the other ones like a SAC, Vegas, and Colorado Springs, they get their act in and make it a bit of a tighter race. But you got to be in the top 6. And again, this is a club that they have openly said in years past, top 4, you want to host a playoff match. And how long has it been since they hosted a playoff match, Owen?
It was in 2021, was it not?
Yeah, it's been a while. So, I mean, while we know that's the ultimate barometer for this club, I do agree. If you're outside the top 6, it's just a hard one to swallow, man. Again, it seems like we have been light years removed from the 2023 win. And then going into, last season, right? It's just, you want to be able to turn the corner and in a positive way. I like a lot of the pieces that they're building. I like the core. I like the energy. This team, I think based on experience and how these players are going to be playing themselves into better positions, this club is ultimately going to get better throughout the season. I think in terms of at least cohesion, in terms of something to build on. Now, all of that stuff is not, necessarily translating into wins and losses. That's going to be another matter. But I do think that this club is going to be continuing to be pleasing on the eye and more entertaining to watch. And I think they're going to start solidifying a little bit more defensively. We just have to see if they're able to do it at a rate that's going to translate to 3 points, a draw here, 3 points, rather than the first month of the season. And that's really going to be the ultimate barometer. Are these last 4 matches, are they the exception for Phoenix Rising moving forward, or are they the rule? That's what we're going to have to see, especially overloaded summer with Gold Cup ahead and everything else. It's really tough to tell, especially with a squad who has had so much turnover and who is so relatively young compared to a lot of the league.
You also get people in the stadium. I'm just going to say that now. Separately, 4,000.
Of course.
Not good enough.
Not great.
Not good enough.
Not great.
Not good enough.
Yeah.
Like, this is a club that I think has expectations that are higher on every level.
Yeah, James in the chat, hosting a playoff game would be so amazing.
I know, and if you're going to get crowds like that in the regular season, you're going to need to.
Yeah, you are going to need to rally in a big way.
Lowest crowd announced since the rebrand to Phoenix Rising, with the exception of COVID restricted games in a regular season match.
That's wild. That's wild. I mean, again, we were talking,
and that's not like it's come in the middle of like a stretch of 3 weekends in a row when they're at home.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, listen, and also too, like, this is like, keep in mind, like, that is including like in years past where they've been playing in the middle of summer in the heat and everything like that, which again, they've been playing in their entire existence. Like, that's not great.
No,
it's not great.
No,
it's tough, man. You want to see a rebound. You want to see this team continuing to build fans. Like, again, they have a young core. Like, there is an entertaining plotline. If you are a neutral or if you're a first time goer to these Phoenix Rising matches, there are things to hang your hat on, but you just have to keep on. You have to see something that they want to keep building, and you want to see what is the reason that you're going to come back again. The talent on field, and I think some of the players, there's absolutely compelling stories there, but we just got to see if it's going to stick. It hasn't so far. I hope for the club's sake it does, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see.
We will see. Let's see. Ryball's in the chat. We think Carlson is a center back long term. He's so comfy on the ball back there.
I don't know, and it's not because I'm saying he's not better there than he is in midfield. It's more the fact that you do have to remember right now he's playing there because the 2 guys that Rising started the season with at those positions are both out at the moment. Monterey obviously has had the delays around his adjustment of status to get a green card. Pa-Modou out injured. Yeah, that's kind of the issues that this team has had there at those positions. He's become that way by necessity. Does he start ahead of either of those guys? And also Senge's come in now as well. I don't know if he does.
I don't know about that.
I don't know if he does. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss me with that one. I mean, yeah, I'm saying
maybe he's an option off the bench. The key thing is he's capable of playing that position, and we all know he's capable of playing that position now.
No, he is.
And we you could have known that anyway because he's played in that position at other clubs in the past. But I don't know if I'd say, oh, this is a guy who's going to be starting at centre-back, at which point I'm not sure if the delineation of is he a defensive midfielder or is he a centre-back is necessarily one that this club is going to grapple with at this point.
That's fair. I mean, yeah, you're hopefully going to get some depth back. You're hopefully going to, be able to, and you do see red balls right after that. These a little too dodgy as a sec. I mean, right, your midfield is taking shape. I mean, right, you're seeing a lot of different guys getting minutes. I mean, Jameson Ping with, an assist, on that Ryan Flood goal. I mean, you're seeing different guys work in there. It's so funny. Their midfield, it is so perplexing. I really can't recall a midfield where you have such a wide variety of profiles. You've seen in years past, but I mean, to the degree at this club, it is. There are no like number 6s or like for like number 8s. There are so many different profiles, both physically and in stylistically. It's all over the place with this club.
We'll go back to Kevin's point there. We're talking about the attendance, right? Phoenix is a fickle sports market. Hopefully more fans come if we keep on winning. I get your point, but I'm also going to counter it by saying end of the 2022 season. The crowd started going up. The club was clearly coming up with some ideas that seemed to be working well. And that was the worst season in the club's history since rebranding as Phoenix Rising FC. At the end of it, when they were playing meaningless games, and they were managing to pump those crowds up a bit as the season, kind of creaked on. I don't think that's as much of a factor as you think it is. I think that when Rising gets 10,000 people there, I'm not being rude. I think half of them don't know where Rising are in the league. Let's be real. We are talking among people here who care.
No, it's fair. I mean, again,
but you have to remember that the vast majority of the people in the stadium, any stadium, anywhere,
Well,
don't as much.
And listen, I don't necessarily, everyone's got to start somewhere, right? In order to grow attendance,
100%.
you have to get people who have never been to a match before or haven't been to a match in a while. And like naturally and logically, they're not going to know as much about how this club is doing. And that's okay. You want to be, ideally, yeah, you would love to see people come to the matches, grow that attendance, have them become consistent. Maybe they buy a multi-game package, maybe they become season ticket holders. But like, even just to get the average continuing to go up and up, like, you're going to have people who maybe aren't as invested in or not as knowledgeable as where they are in the stands, but you keep on giving them reasons to come back, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know they've tried a lot of different things, not for, in my opinion, I don't think it's for lack of trying, but it's, you gotta keep on trying to find stuff that sticks. So we'll see. Ryballs, big agree. Max, the midfield is an Amoeba, 100%. Kevin, Ping impacts the game every time he plays over Kello. Yeah, I mean, listen, Jameson Ping, you can see him, he's fighting out there for sure. JP is such a dog, says Ryballs, 100%. Something we haven't talked about. The Spurs! We won the Europa League, baby. No one can say anymore. Look at Owen. He's so happy to talk about this. All I get is 5 minutes to talk about my beloved Spurs. It was beautiful. Come on, Owen. Come on. How many times has it been miserable for me coming on this pod after Spurs lose again and again, and we won a trophy? It's amazing.
God,
I'm so
he's
happy.
insufferable, isn't he?
It's so good.
He's
it's
insufferable.
So good. Everyone.
If we're going to congratulate, let's talk about the things. Shout out to Devin in the chat, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Devin graduated high school this week. Let's talk about that. Big congrats to
Dev.
To Devin.
There
we go. See, that gets that, but you don't get that.
Well, no, that was also for both of us. I think Shane was also giving me a little bit of that, like a nice portion, maybe half 50-50.
There we go. There's the
Why would you do that to Devin, dude? That's crazy.
No, Devin doesn't get that. You get that.
He's just jealous. Peanut butter jealous. Yeah. Spurs, they did the darn thing. It's really going to be funny where 17th, darn near, handful of points above relegation. It doesn't matter. We're going to Champions League, baby. 100 million in the bank. Daniel Levy, Levy out. But it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. 1-0. Andre Onana. Man, keep playing goalie forever for Man U. I appreciate that. Owen down horrendous. I love it.
Has anyone noticed that Reece didn't show up today?
Yeah.
Of all the things,
how convenient.
We talk about the Spurs thing. I do it just to wind him up. Like I don't care that much. But Reece isn't here. Reece didn't show up today.
Oh, it's beautiful. Big Ange always wins things in his second year. To have the cojones to say that after a loss to Arsenal early in the season, and he corrected them. It's not, I usually win. I always win things in my second year. And that's factual. It's a factual statement and is still factual. That man brought us a trophy. I have not seen I started following Spurs in about 2010, 2011. They had already won the League Cup 2-3 years prior in 2008. And, people have their reservations about what that is. But I had not, they haven't won a major trophy in my lifetime. They haven't won a major trophy outside the League's Cup since 1984. It's like 41 years. That's insane. No more. We won a trophy and Arsenal didn't. We love it. And you know what? I got to shout out the Welsh. Brendan Johnson.
He did.
What a
did.
guy.
Yeah.
What a guy. Yeah. We love it. We love it.
Brendan Johnson spoke to his dad in Qatar.
Let's go. Kevin in the chat, does Big Ange keep his job? It kind of seems like they're eyeing on the... No, it's hard to make an emotional...
Max has never been more conflicted.
I've never been more conflicted.
This man is sitting here like, we've just won a trophy, but at the same time, maybe we're going to be in the championship in a year's time.
I think they're going... If I'm regardless of my opinion, I think what's going to happen, I could very much see this as a mutual parting of ways. He leaves on a high note. I don't know who you bring in.
Are you trying to get rid of him?
I'm not. I'm saying,
this man's brought a trophy.
I
in.
am
You're trying to get rid
what
of him?
the club is going to do. I'm saying what the club is going to do, regardless of what I
Who
think.
are they going to bring in then as a manager?
Listen, their targets. I'm not saying they're going for any world beaters. They're targeting. They're targeting Areola from Bournemouth. They're targeting Thomas Frank from Brentford. They're targeting Fulham manager. Like they're under Silva. They're targeting a lot of different guys who are from mid-table clubs. So there's that. But yeah, just let's dog on Arteta. I love it.
Oh dear.
Oh, and did you watch the match today?
I watched bits of it, yeah. I didn't think Man United were very good.
No, they're not. Kevin, the chat never seen Reece and Harry Maguire in the same room.
Oh dear. All right. I guess about it for us now, isn't it, Max?
I think so. Keep on talking because I was trying to remember how to chant. I had a chant for me.
No, you're not. No, Max. Come on, wrap it.
What the? Get out of here! That's crazy. I thought.
Right, wrap it up, Max.
Devin,
Wrap it
that
up.
was the coldest. That was the coldest quote in football. Well, I do appreciate everyone joining us here on the PHNX Rising / PHNX Tom Hotspur podcast / Europa League Winners podcast.
You muted. Great. Phenomenal. Max is muted. Thanks for joining us today. If you want to follow us on Twitter, I'm at OJMant18. Max is not going to be followed by you. Shane, what are you again? Shane Deef. There we go. You can follow the podcast at PHNX__rising because double the underscores. Double the amount of time that Max is muted, please. And we'll be back here Tuesday next week, not Wednesday because of the game on Wednesday. We'll be back here on Tuesday. And remember, it is a beautiful game, but it's way more beautiful when we mute Max's mic so we don't have to listen to him celebrate. Good night.
We all silly like the mayor.